Nanoparticles in drug delivery basics. So here we know nanoparticles are solid or colloidal particles and their structure sizes ranges from 10 to 1000 nanometer. When we say about nanometer is equal to 10 to the power minus 9 to meter. That means nanometer means they are 1 by billion times smaller than that of a meter, which means they are very smaller particle. So smaller the particle, more is the surface area. When surface area is more, that means more number of nanoparticles they get exposed to the particular site of action, that is the diseased cell. So more the exposure, more quantity of drugs get released to the disease site of action. That means it is having a higher surface to volume ratio. Moreover, it is based on targeted drug delivery concept, which is based on magic bullet concept. When we say about magic bullet concept, it means just like we trigger a bullet, it reaches the site of action. Similarly, when we use nanoparticle, the nanoparticle actually directly reaches the targeted site of action. In figure 1, that is targeted drug delivery, we can see there are two figures. Left side, it is actually the conventional dosage form, and right side is the nanoparticle. When we talk about conventional drug delivery, where we can say the drug is there in conventional dosage form like tablet, capsule and all, the drug is administered. And here in normal cell also some quantity of drug got accumulated and very lesser quantity of drug reached the targeted cell. Here targeted cell represents some tumor cell in our body. That means the drug also get accumulated in the normal cell, which results in some side effects of the drug, increase in side effect of the drug. But when we say nanoparticle, in the case of targeted drug delivery, here we can say that when they are administered, normal cell there is no accumulation. Directly the drug is getting to the particular site of action. Hence, nanocarrier when they are used, drugs ultimately reach the targeted site of action. Specific drug delivery take place, more quantity of drug reaches the site of action. Due to non-accumulation in the non-specific site, the lesser side effects can be expected from the nanoparticle. Here one thing I want to say is the nanocarrier. Nanoparticle, they are nothing but they are a vehicle which carries the drug to the particular location. That is why they are actually nanocarrier. Any drug dosage form, whether we can say tablet, capsule, any, they are nothing but they are the dosage form are the carrier which actually contain the drug and carries the drug to the required site. Second one is the controlled drug delivery. Controlled drug delivery, it means we can control the rate of release of drug. And in the case of these nanoparticles, the drugs can be released more than 24 hours. So we can release the drug for a prolonged period of time. That is because some polymeric membranes are used that actually control the rate of release of drug. Similarly, there are morphologies. If we say there are nanospheres or nanocapsules. When we say nanosphere in figure 2, nanosphere, nanocapsule, the left side is nanosphere. We can say the drugs are absorbed, dispersed on the matrix. But nanocapsule, here the drugs is encapsulated. It is surrounded by some polymer membrane. So that is the nanocapsule. In both the cases, the rate of drug delivery can be controlled. So what we can say, when we load the drug in a nanoparticle, the drug either it can be encapsulated, it can be entrapped or dissolved or maybe adsorbed onto the surface of the nanoparticle. Conventional dosage form, they are having lots of drawback. Like if we say the pharmaceutical aspect, it is unstable. Then solubility issues are there because the drugs, some are highly lipophilic in nature, less soluble in aqueous solvent, so that is one problem. Second, low absorption, high membrane bounding, biologically unstable. Now when we go for pharmacokinetic or pharmacodynamic, short half-life. Some drugs, they are having short half-life, as for example if we take diabetic drug, that is metformin hydrochloride, very short half-life drug. So what happens when half-life is short, the frequency of administration of the drug is increased so that the therapeutic window in our body can be maintained. So some these kind of drugs, they are given twice daily before food, and what happen, the size also more. So what happen in this case, now the patient incompliance occurs. The patient sometimes they get bored of taking the drug daily, twice daily, like that and all. So ultimately what happens, some patient also they get scared of taking such a big drug and all. So ultimately what will happen, the patient in compliance, because of this the therapeutic efficacy in our body will be lessened. Moreover, because of bigger size, they are having large volume of distribution and specificity also low. In compared to this, if we see the nanoparticle, they are, if the drug is also of short half-life, then we can control the rate of release of drug. We can make a controlled drug delivery system. Because of this, we can decrease the frequency of dosing. Like in case of controlled drug delivery, once the drug is administered in the form of nanoparticle, what happen? It will release the drug for a longer period of time. Hence, this problem, patient incompliance, can be overcome. Moreover, they are having smaller size, as already discussed, more exposure to the site of action, more rate of delivery of the drug, and specificity is high because it directly targeted to the site of action, avoiding unwanted accumulation in some normal undiseased cell. And also conventional dosage form, their therapeutic index also low. Now for a targeted drug delivery, what are the criteria that are required? The first thing, the materials that are used for making nanoparticles and all, they should be biocompatible, biodegradable in our body. Then stability, then they should target to a particular site of action. Then therapeutic range should be maintained, and they should not get accumulated in the normal cells. These are. The next one is the preparation of nanoparticle. Now question is how to prepare the nanoparticles. Now the preparation of nanoparticle is based on the types of nanoparticle. What type of nanoparticle we want to make, and also the route of administration, by what route we want to give the drug. That are two criteria. Types of nanoparticle, if we say, there are different types. Some like organic nanoparticles are there. Again, organics are like lipid nanoparticles, polymeric nanoparticles. Lipid nanoparticles are solid lipid, liposome, nanostructure lipid carrier. So depending on the type of nanoparticle, we have to select our raw material. Like in case of inorganic nanoparticle, it is silica, gold nanoparticle, carbon nanotube, iron oxide, quantum dot. So these are actually mainly inorganic nanoparticle. So depending on the type of nanoparticle that we are preparing, we have to collect the raw materials. Moreover, the materials that we are using for preparing, they should fulfill the criteria for targeted drug delivery, like biodegradable, biocompatible, stability, all this. So we have to collect the raw material, and then we have to choose the particular preparation technique. Like there are different technique: desolvation, dialysis, ionic gelation, nanoprecipitation, solvent evaporation, salting out, spreading, supercritical fluid. All these techniques are there. So first of all, we have to choose the types of nanoparticle and the site of action as well as the route of administration. Based on this, we have to collect the raw materials based on the criteria of targeted drug delivery, and then we have to choose the method of preparation, because we have to first of all maintain the size of nanoparticle, which is important. We have to manufacture such a way so that the minimum and required size is obtained depending on the site of delivery. For example, if you want to go for delivering the drug to the brain for treating brain tumor and all, then we know there is a physiological barrier, that is blood-brain barrier. In order to cross the blood-brain barrier, the size should be very, very small. So we have to make the nanoparticle in such a way so that the required size is obtained, that is 100 nanometer or below that. So in this way, we have to choose the preparation method. Then once the nanoparticle is prepared, we have to go for surface modification, also known as surface functionalization. Why it is necessary? See, when nanoparticles are prepared, they are administered to the body. When it goes to the blood, in our bloodstream there are reticuloendothelial cells that eats up, that phagocytosis take place. That means they eats up the nanoparticles. Ultimately, what happens? When it will be eaten up by the macrophages present in our bloodstream, less quantity of drug will reach the site of action, because less quantity of nanoparticle will be reaching the targeted site, resulting in lesser therapeutic efficacy. So that is why surface functionalization is done. The surface is modified in such a way using some coating technology, ligand based strategy, so that it will be unidentified by the reticuloendothelial cell present in the bloodstream, so that directly it will be either unidentified, it will bypass, avoid phagocytosis, and it will reach the site of action. More quantity of drug will be released and therapeutic efficacy can be obtained. That is the criteria for surface functionalization. So once this prepared, next step is to modify the surface depending on the site of action. Next, after that, the administration to the body, selecting the route of administration. Already it is which route to be given, that is already beforehand it should be discussed, and by that route it is administered to the body. So these are the basic for preparation of nanoparticle. Next, nanoparticles, they have got several application, like for tumor targeting, for treating tumor. Then for gene delivery it is used, drug delivery into the brain. As already I have told, the physiological barrier, that is blood-brain barrier, it restricts the entry of most of the drug into the body, because several criteria are there for delivering drug into the brain, like the smaller molecular weight, smaller size and all. Moreover, it should be lipophilic in nature. So what happened? Drugs, most of the drugs, they cannot cross the blood-brain barrier. So as they cannot cross, so therapeutic efficacy cannot be obtained. Disease remain untreated, basically for brain tumor and all. So using nanoparticles, several research works has been done to cross the blood-brain barrier, and most of them have been found to be successful, because using nanoparticle we can lower the size up to 100 and below nanometer, and the drugs, by surface modification, the drugs can be easily delivered into the brain. So most of the research works have been published, and animal studies also found to be successful. Now, some antimicrobial technique like nanocrystalline silver is also used in nanoparticle for treating some skin disorder. The nutraceutical delivery, for delivering the nutraceuticals also, nanoparticles are found to be successful. Now these are some of the marketed product, like we can say liposomal donorubation, donoxom. It all these are FDA approved, and Doxil, Ostim, MN. These are some of the marketed products. Still, the research works are going on the successful application of nano carrier for delivering most of the drugs, so as to treat most of the diseases which still did remain untreated by the conventional delivery system. So here we expect that it has got a huge prospect in near future for treating most of the diseases which remain untreated till date. Thank you so much.